We're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Oh, hey, how's it going? This is Webby, not Eddie.
And I'm Eddie, and this is our 96th Dinking Around.
Oh, yeah, episode number 96.
We are creeping very close to that episode number 100, which we might have a few little surprises up our sleeves. You never know.
Mm-hmm. I cannot believe it. We are getting oh so close to episode 100. It's crazy.
Do you know what else is crazy, Webby?
What's that?
When I see people playing with pickleball paddles other than a Volair paddle, I don't understand, guys. Don't get me wrong. There are some good paddles out there. But if you get a pickleball paddle from Volair.com, you're guaranteed to be able to have a solid paddle. And they have plenty of options that can suit anyone's game. I love it. We've been playing with Volair since even before we partnered with them. You guys should get your hands on some. You can go to Volair.com and you can use coupon code PB for life to get what, Webby?
You will get yourself 10% off your order, and it's also going to show us some support in the process.
Yeah. Show us some love. Get yourself a good paddle. Volair.com. That's all I got to say about that.
One thing I got to say is a question, and that question is...
What in the world is in that drink? What you got in that drink?
Well, Webby, tonight I'm going to be sipping on something I've had on the podcast before, and this is from our friends over at Griffin Claw. This is the Blood Orange Vodka and Soda. Any idea where I got this from?
I do have a feeling. Was it the Beer City Open from, I think, 2 years ago?
Actually, it was from my fridge. But it got into my fridge because Griffin Claw gave us both a ton of these to try out, and I've enjoyed them. And honestly, I forgot this was even in there. It's a good seltzer. I remember enjoying it before, and I hope to enjoy it again this evening. Griffin Claw is a great brewery. They have incredible beers and good seltzers. Not a sponsor, but just a good company. I'll be sipping on that tonight. Webby, what about you?
Well, anybody who tuned in last week, you saw that I was drinking a non-alcoholic IPA. So this week, I am going to drink a full-blown IPA, and this is one of my all-time favorites. Haven't had it yet this year, but this is Two Hearted IPA from Bell's Brewery, one of my absolute favorite beers, and I am looking forward to sipping on this.
Nice. God, that is just an incredibly classic beer. It is something that I could drink all day long. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, definitely in my top 5 of all the beers in the world. The beers.
Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Cheers to everybody tuning in. If you're drinking a beverage, let us know in the comments below what you're sipping on.
That's right. God, I wish I had a Two Hearted. I don't see it that often down here. Such a good beer.
So good. It's like on the stronger side, but very smooth. I absolutely love it. It's got some good hoppiness. I mean, I feel like just everything about it. If you like IPAs, this is one of the best.
I do like IPAs, and I like that one. But I also like to keep track of the time, and I think it's time.
Now it's time for Memes of the Week. Yeah!
That's right. It's Memes of the Week. Webby, we've been saying it over and over again. It is the hottest segment in all of pickleball podcasts out there. It is Memes of the Week. I can't wait. We've had a lot of great memes popping up in the last week. It was hard to narrow it down. I know mine's going to be quite the banger, but what do you got for us this week, Webby?
Well, Eddie, did you watch any of Major League Pickleball in Orlando?
I did, yes.
You may have noticed that the color scheme of the courts was kind of an interesting choice. And somebody else who noticed that was Memes of Pickleball. So in case anybody who didn't tune in, they had a very bright neon orange color around the court. It was blinding to look at, both in person and watching it on TV. So here we go. Let's see what Memes of Pickleball has to say about the color scheme at Major League Pickleball Orlando. And with this first one, we've got some images from the show Seinfeld. Everybody is squinting. There's the bright orange light, and it says, "What's going on in there?" And then we got Kramer saying, "Major League Pickleball is on."
So good. Did you notice during the broadcast, like some of the players' legs, you could see the orange court reflecting off of their legs?
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. Like, it was distracting.
Who thought this was a good idea?
like I couldn't watch a whole lot of it, to be honest, because of it. I was getting a headache.
It's so bad.
And then we got players showing up to the courts at Major League Pickleball Orlando. Nice and happy and smiling, and then they get a glimpse of the orange, and then not so happy anymore. Oh, I feel like that's such an accurate look, though. The squinty, painful look on the face.
Even looking at this picture, it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm reliving the experience of watching Major League Pickleball Orlando with this image right here.
So funny.
Roll out pickleball court companies after inventing a new way to make their product even worse.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Me, when I find the guy who decided neon clementine would be an ideal court color for MLP.
Like, could you imagine if you're there, you're building a pickleball facility, and like, let's pick out court colors. And they're like, we got like the traditional blues and greens, kind of like that dark red color. We also have neon clementine. What? Like, come on. Get out of here with that.
Right. I almost feel like somebody chose that as a joke, and then whoever was responsible for actually doing the courts was like, they took it literally, and it was too late to change their mind.
Well, honestly, my experience at the UPA wouldn't be surprised if that could have happened.
Oh, man. But great job, Memes of Pickleball. I feel like everybody can relate with that one.
Totally agree. That was great.
But what do you got for us this week, Eddie?
Well, Webby, my meme is actually going to be a few memes, and it might turn into a little bit of a mini topic this week if you're good with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Always down for a little mini topic.
So we all know that our last episode, I talked about how excited I was for Major League Pickleball. Webby, you seemed like you were pretty excited as well. And things were messy, sloppy. I don't really know what the right term is. It definitely did not live up to the hype and expectations I built in my head. What do you think?
Yeah, numerous things occurred that left me feeling a bit disappointed in this first installment of Major League Pickleball this year.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed. But there was one situation that came up that I really want to be able to break down. And if you're a pickleball fan, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably were aware of the situation that happened with Annalie Waters, Hayden Patriquin, and the New Jersey Fives and the St. Louis Shock. And it was messy. So I'm actually going to play for you first the uncensored video that was posted from pickleball.com. Now remember, pickleball.com is owned by Tom Dundon, so technically it's part of the UPA, PPA, MLP ecosystem. So this is the kind of stuff that they are promoting. Just keep that in mind as you're watching this.
Bitch! You just call me a bitch? Bitch! You just call me a bitch?
I didn't touch her. I stood right here. What's this? This right here is touching her. You don't touch a woman. You don't touch a woman. Get the fuck out.
No, I didn't. Well, he went off my face.
You don't know what she's like. You see them? Get the video out.
I will get the video and I'll send it to your inbox.
I'll send it to your inbox.
You do not touch her. You do not touch her.
Jeez.
All right. So many thoughts. But before we break this down a little bit further, I did want to show a funny post on X from our friends over at Memes of Pickleball regarding the situation. They said, a lot of people are asking for official league comment, so here we go. ALW is obviously not a effing B, but she clearly is a badass and wants all the smoke. We respect that. 2, players, please stay on your side of the court. 3, players, please keep smack talk appropriate. Thank you and have a wonderful Monday. Go play some pickle.
So you said that was from Memes of Pickleball, and it sounds like something they would do, but doesn't that say it's from Major League Pickleball, like their account?
Wait, what?
If I'm not mistaken, that says it's from the Major League Pickleball account.
Oh, yeah. So this is not an actual meme. This is a legitimate statement. This is the public statement regarding the situation from Major League Pickleball. This corny ass what? Who wrote this?
Wow.
Who thought this was a good idea?
That's just crazy to me.
Before we get a little bit more in depth with it, I do want to play something funny. This is from Should Be Home. The tagline is, "It's getting chippy," but you can see it says, "I'm pretty good at lip reading, so let's try this out."
Pretty good at lip reading, so let's try this out. Whoa, okay, all right.
Fight fair. Have fun or fight. It was laughable. Just have fun.
Perfect, spot on voice.
I heard him call me a fucking bitch.
He's bad.
Get away from me.
That voice is hilarious.
No, get away from me.
Yellow card.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
That is hilarious. So good.
Oh, well done. Should Be Home. Webby, maybe we need to start pulling some memes from this account because that when I first saw that had me crying. I was laughing so hard.
That was awesome.
Let's change directions a little bit though, okay? I have some thoughts on this. Hayden, don't do that. Don't call girls that word. That's not nice. That's something we learned when we were like in kindergarten.
Right.
And it's something like that we don't do. So just don't do it, okay? I understand you're a professional pickleball player. You have a reputation of talking trash. Love that. That crossed the line. Not original. Not cool. Don't do it. And I think Hayden knows that. I would be surprised if he's like thinking that it was the right move to do, right?
Right. Yeah. I can't imagine anybody watching that footage of themselves being like, "Oh, that was cool. I should do that again."
That's a good move. Same goes with Annalie Waters, right? I mean, I think she has a right to defend herself. Maybe she shouldn't have gotten in his face like she did. I think she did cross the line a little bit as well. Whatever. Again, another young, fiery player. These kind of situations are going to happen.
I don't know if you felt this way, but I got kind of like old school Jerry Springer vibes when Annalie Waters ran over to their side of the bench and stuff like that.
Oh, 100% Jerry Springer vibes. Yeah, that's going to kind of go into the topic here a little bit. Going a little further, Lee Waters, Mama Bear. Mama Bear's doing what Mama Bear does. She's protecting her daughter, whatever. No big deal. I do have to say, and I'm not surprised by this, Courtney Johnson, class act, came in there, kept her cool, helped control the situation from the best of her ability. Love Courtney Johnson. This is another example of why she is the best head ref or whatever her role is with Major League Pickleball situations like this. She is so good at them and just an absolute class act. There are some people, though, that I don't think really have been talked about a little bit that I want to address. I'm actually surprised that people haven't been more up in arms around it. And I want to play a real quick clip from the St. Louis Shock's YouTube page. And this is basically going through what really happened at MLP Orlando. And we get an even different perspective on things that I want to talk about.
All good, all good, all good, all good.
What is going on with this guy? That's Andrew Haynes, CEO of St. Louis Shock. Okay, he's the one that blocked Anna Lee from going over to his side of the bench, right? What are you doing? Why are you acting like a tough guy right now? Like you're blocking a girl from trying to get to Hayden to basically defend herself from him, calling her an effing B.
Right.
What are you doing, tough guy? Like what is that for? Like I don't understand this. It makes no sense to me. It seems so unnecessary. Why are you being that aggressive? And like, it honestly seemed like he was, you remember when like tough guys used to go to the bars in college and like, you know, like block people and be like, what? I didn't touch him.
Right.
What, me? You're a grown ass man. Act like it.
Did he really think that Annalie Waters was going to be this big threat that he needed to try and be a bodyguard and like block her from getting into the area? Like what?
Seriously, it makes no sense to me what he was trying to do there. And nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about all these other things with these young kids that are pickleball players. Guys, they're going to fight. They're going to fight. They're going to do this, right? Hayden shouldn't have done it. Annalie shouldn't have done it. Okay, we can all move on, right? But you're a grown-ass man. You're the COO of a Major League Pickleball team. Why are you acting like that? That's ridiculous. It seems so unnecessary. And I don't know, Webby. Maybe you and I are just old. Maybe we were raised in a different time. But I was raised to do the exact opposite of that when it came to interacting with girls, okay? It just was. That is not what you do. Don't get me wrong. This is nothing against Annalie. Annalie is a badass, and I'm sure she could beat some ass. I mean, there's no doubt about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing against her. But all she was doing was addressing a punk-ass statement from a kid who has a reputation of being a punk-ass. And he's trying to tough guy block her. What are you doing? Come on, man.
Because I agree that he like wasn't like putting his hands on her and stuff like that, but still, the block, the tough guy block that you're talking about, like just that alone was out of line, if you ask me.
100% out of line, and then getting all defensive, like, it wasn't me, like, I didn't touch her. And then, watch what else he does.
Are you going to show her the card? You're the referee. Control the bench.
He basically tells her to get the F out of here and goes like that. Like, what? What are you doing, man? You're a COO of a team. You need to act like a professional when you're out there in the court. Don't get sucked into this drama. And then you got Ross over here, yellow card. And, you know, Zane saying, shut up, Ross. Yes, shut up, Ross. You're yelling at the referee for not controlling the bench when your own COO was escalating the situation by trying to be a tough guy and be confrontational over there. What are you guys doing? You're acting like children. This is what's pissing me off about this, is that, fine, these are young players. They're going to do that. Okay, letting a little bit of that happen to be able to build the excitement, no problem. You guys are grown-ass men who are leaders out there in this world and represent a sports team. Act like it. Don't be tough guys and yellow card. What are you doing? Why is nobody talking about? Why are we the only ones talking about this? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's very odd. There's a lot of things that were odd to me about this whole entire thing. The way that Major League Pickleball handled it, like you pointed out earlier, it was like they were promoting the fact that this happened. To me, it almost seemed like they're trying to go the WWE route. They're trying to like manufacture some drama to get more eyeballs, because everybody knows stuff that's dramatic, that's going to get more attention, that might get more viewers and stuff like that. I almost feel like this is a desperation move to try to get more people to tune into the product that is potentially getting stale.
100% in agreement with you. This reeks of desperation to me. This reeks of, if we don't get a media deal, then we're out. We're done. And I don't want to see pro pickleball go to the wayside. But if MLP has to die in order to save this sport, go for it. I'm fine with it. End it. Because I don't want this. Now, again, I have no problem with the fact that there is this drama out there. And I actually think some of the stuff is pretty funny. The fact that we're talking about it is helping getting more eyeballs on it. So you have organic growth that can come from this. Where it becomes inorganic and forced is when you have it being promoted by pickleball.com. You have it being promoted by Major League Pickleball. And this reminds me of if you're recording your kid and they say something that's kind of pushes the boundary and is a little bit funny, and you're like, oh my God, that's funny, and it's a moment you can cherish, and maybe you post it online and people laugh about it and it blows up or whatever, versus you're coaching your kid on how to do and say things that are inappropriate. in order to be able to go out there and get views. One of them is wholesome, it's organic, it doesn't feel forced. The other is this, a forced situation that MLP is trying to capitalize on to get eyeballs onto the sport, not because they think that there's going to be people that want to watch pickleball, not because they believe that these players and these teams are going to put on a good show, but by forcing drama like this out there, promoting it. And now what's going to happen, Webby? Let's take this a step further, okay? Now, if I'm somebody that is maybe an up-and-comer in pickleball, maybe I got drafted to MLP, and I want some attention, by seeing this happening and all the promotion from within MLP, what are these people going to start thinking that they should do to get attention? To act like they're on the Jerry Springer show. I'm not about it. I'm not. Let it happen naturally, fine. Don't promote it. It's ridiculous. I think this is ridiculous.
To me, it went beyond trying to do damage control. It seemed like flat out promotion and like, oh, look at this. Look at the kind of stuff that you could see if you tune into Major League Pickleball.
Yeah, cool. You can see people fighting off court. Great. There are plenty of YouTube channels dedicated to watching sports fights. Okay?
Right.
Pickleball is not it. This is not it. Okay? It's not the way to go to try and grow the sport. It might grow, but where's it going to grow to? What's next? Right? I mean, there are ways to be able to get eyeballs on the sport that are going to grow exponentially, but it doesn't mean we should do them. And I think, listen, UPA, Samin Odwani, the new commissioner of MLP, you guys made your bed with this. Now you got to sleep in it.
That's deep. That's some deep stuff right there, but I can't say I disagree.
Well, guys, let us know what you think. This turned into a little bit bigger of a topic than I thought. I got a little passionate about it, but it comes from a place of I care deeply for the future of pickleball.
Right.
I don't want to see stuff like this going on anymore, man.
No, this is not the pickleball that we fell in love with.
Certainly is not. But guys, disagree with us, agree with us, whatever. We want to know. Let's have a conversation about it. Throw it down in the comments below. Do you think that we're blowing up way too hard about Andrew Haynes, the COO of St. Louis Shock? Do you think that he was just this innocent guy and just acting to protect Hayden from this big, scary monster? Let us know down in the comments.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about that. But does everybody know what time it is now?
Now it's time for Topics of the Week.
That's right. It's Topics of the Week. You might have thought that the last segment was Topics of the Week. It wasn't. It was just an Eddie rant from Memes of the Week. But Webby, you have a special topic this week, and I'm so excited to hear about it.
Yes, this is a very special one. As we said earlier, we're getting very close to our 100th episode, so it's kind of had me looking back, and I would love to revisit some of the guests that we have talked to in the past, and by revisit, I mean have them back on the show, and that is exactly what we did for this episode. I had a chance to connect with a legendary person in the sport of pickleball, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the discussion. Thanks, Eddie and Webby. Today's guest is a longtime friend of this podcast and is a living legend in the sport of pickleball. In fact, he is actually in the Pickleball Hall of Fame. Please welcome back to the show, Steve Paranto.
Thanks for having me, Webby. You guys are actually the longest running podcast that had anything to do with pickleball.
I haven't looked at the numbers, but I feel like we got to be getting close anyways.
At one time, it was just you. We're going back 8-9 years. In today's pickleball years, we call those OGs.
Right, yeah.
eight years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're aware of this. It was June of 2019 when we first had you on the show. So that's almost exactly 6 years ago when you were first a guest on our show, and then we were on your call-in show at the time.
Wow, that was the year my dad passed away, and I know he was watching that show too. He passed away about 3 months later.
I know you were hoping that he was going to be able to be on with you for that episode, but unfortunately, I know he was wasn't doing great at the time.
No,
but yeah, man, your dad, he played such a huge part. Both of you played such a huge part in the history of pickleball, and also you have officially joined the previous time you were on our show, you joined the Five Timers Club. This is actually your sixth time as a guest on our show, if you include the time you were on with Wes and then the time that you were with the other Pickleball Hall of Famers. So, yeah, thanks again for joining us. We always have a great time when you join us here. One thing that always stood out that first time that you were on the show is the fact that you surprised Eddie and I with a musical performance. We were not expecting that, and that was absolutely awesome. Do you still do pickleball song performances from time to time these days?
I do at my playhouse here. I'm in my playhouse right now. I was giving you a tour a little bit earlier. I have 2 indoor courts and I have a big golf simulator, big screen. We watch movies. And in fact, we just had my mixed doubles partner, Judy Horfrost. She was on that table tennis team that went to China in '71. And there's a PBS documentary all about that led up to those political things that happened with, that's
wow.
Nixon. And anyway, we had a showing of that. Sometimes at those events, I'll perform at one of our parties. My favorite party is the Oscar party. I try to be a character of a movie I like. And this year we had the Bob Dylan movie. And so here's my guitar. Before we ever have a party like that, I get into the character. So I was Bob Dylan for the Oscar party.
Nice.
And of course, what are you going to do? You're going to write pickleball songs.
Right.
I'm kind of like you guys, I know that you and I have this bond with loving Weird Al.
Oh, yeah.
And music parodies. And it was really hard for me to write melodies, but I can change words to songs, and I love to do it to pickleball. Would you like to hear a couple verses of Bob Dylan Pickleball?
Oh, I would love to. I would love that.
Okay, well, let's see. Here we go. See if I'm in the right key.
Hey, Mr. Pickleball Man, play a game with me. I'm so lonely and there's no other players wanting to. Hey, Mr. Pickleball Man, teach me what you know. With your podcast and your show, I've been following you. So
Nice.
Found out Dylan's songs are pretty easy to change the words to, and of course the chords are pretty easy. Let's show you this one.
How many times must my ball fly away? I'm tired of playing in the wind. How many times will my ball spin away and keep me from winning my big game? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. My balls keep blowing in the wind.
Nice.
And then speaking of the changes in pickleball, all the changes. So I had to write a song about changes.
Oh, yeah, got to.
Come gather around, players, wherever you're from, and admit that the game has been changing a ton. Now there's lots of reasons, and I'm gonna name some. Some are expected, but some are just dumb. For the game, it is changing. Now good tennis players are playing the game. Strategies and tactics, they're not just the same. And all of you listening, I hope you realize you better wear protection or you'll lose both your eyes.
Nice.
So those are my Dylan songs from the Oscar party.
I love it. That's absolutely awesome. Well, I'm glad to see that you are still dabbling in pickleball music. To this day, whenever anybody asks me who my favorite podcast guest was, I always have to look back at that episode, because the fact that you performed music and you even did a ventriloquist act that always stood out. And I don't know if you realize this, we're almost to our 100th episode of Dinking Around. That's after we had already done almost 100 episodes of the original Eddie and Webby podcast. So between the two, we're going on close to 200 episodes of pickleball podcasting, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, that is. How are you getting your guests? I mean, you guys go way back and are able to get us old timers. Are these young guns willing to come on the Eddie and Webby show? Like this new talent, the guys that were 10 years old when we were doing the podcast?
So honestly, Eddie and I, we haven't actually pursued having a whole lot of the pros on like we used to. We mainly focus on like the topics that we have, or like if there's a guest that has something to do with the topic that we want to talk about. We haven't really had a whole lot of the pros on. I bet some of them would be willing to be on, but I do feel like it might be harder to get in touch with people than it used to be. Because I know in the past, like when pro pickleball was like really first taking off, like Ben Johns, Kyle Yates, all of them. Like, I mean, we knew all of them personally, or we could just send a direct message on Facebook or something like that. And it was very easy to just be like, hey, you want to be on our pickleball podcast? And they would be like, sure, let me know when, and stuff like that. So it's definitely not as easy as it used to be if we wanted to have one of the pros on. We decided to go in a little bit different direction when we decided to end the original podcast and focus on doing Dinking Around. We wanted to be more topic driven, and we don't have guests on nearly as much as we used to. So when we do have a guest, usually it's like for a special reason. And because we're getting close to our 100th episode, I wanted to kind of go back and visit some of our favorite guests again, see what people are up to. So
I don't know about you guys, but when we were doing our podcast, and Lala, my girlfriend, was helping us earlier today get all connected. She ran all the technical part of our podcast. We did something that no one ever did or has done since. We had a live call-in show with 10 phones on the line. This is because I like talk shows. And that was interesting. We didn't have video like you do, but we could talk about whatever we wanted. A caller could just call in. It was all live, a call-in live show.
yeah, I loved your show because it was, like you said, very unique. Wasn't done before, hasn't been done since, because it had that old school radio feel to it. Because I know when I was a kid, I used to pick up the phone and dial into the radio station to try to get on the air to talk to the DJ at the time or request a song and see if they would give me a shout out and stuff like that. And it was very cool because I remember when Eddie and I were guests on the show, we called into the phone number and then we were kind of like in the queue because you were talking to somebody else, I think, or you were talking about a topic or something, and then you brought us on. So it was cool because we could hear the show through the phone while we were waiting for you to bring us onto the show. So yeah, it was very cool, very unique. I was a big fan of it.
Yeah, that only costs us, we only lost about $500 a month running that show.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it is not cheap to do that kind of thing.
No, it was just a passion to be, I want a talk show, pickleball show. And so that's how that all happened. Of course, now we have so many podcasts. I'm a fan of most of them. Are you?
Yeah, there's a lot of great ones out there. It's getting to the point where it's hard to keep track of them all because there's so many, but there are a lot of great ones out there. One of my favorites is Pickleball, the one that you were recently on. I feel like they cover a good wide range of topics, and they don't seem like they're too heavily favoring one side over the other. I do feel like there are some out there that are a little on the biased side.
Yeah, well, I think with Zane and Thomas, it's their point of view, and so and they're not hiding that. This is what they believe, and so I'm always interested in Zane's point of view. For quite a while, he's agreed with me that the drop serve should be the way to go to solve all this service issue. You know, this has been one of my things for years, and that's what, you know, the USAP actually came to me. It's over 5 years ago to adopt that as a provisional rule where you could do it. And when I created that idea, it was to be the only serve, not to be an additional serve.
Right.
But I was happy to have it be a rule that people could use. But I think in the future, if we want to be in the Olympics, if we want to have wagering on our sport, can you imagine? Okay, we're in the Olympics, and the referee is the Chinese referee, and China's playing America. Who's going to be called on a high serve more often? You know, you think of Olympics in the past with the gymnasts, and you could have judgment involved. You know, where the scores were always lower with the Russian judges, or and then high with the American judges.
Yeah.
So I've always felt that in situations like that, we need to get rid of as much judgment as possible.
Yeah, because with the drop serve, that would take that judgment piece out of it.
It's almost totally out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the serve, I don't know if you saw, but I saw something online about how Major League Pickleball, they kind of relaxed some of the serving rules, and then it was such a disaster that now they're changing the rules again for this upcoming Major League Pickleball event. So in a span of a couple of weeks, there have been different changes to the serving rule because of that. And then if it was just the drop serve, like you've been wanting for over a decade now, so it would solve all that.
Yeah, I'm almost to the point where I just believe that the MLP and PPA doesn't want to admit that there's an easy solution, that they were wrong from the very beginning.
Right.
I think I get that because they've tried everything, um, and it's never worked out perfectly. I mean, I'm willing to admit the things that I've predicted were wrong in pickleball. And I'm still not certain on a lot of things. How powerful the paddles should be. I am certain that there needs to be a goalpost set. You can't have a company go, okay, here's our limit. We'll make it right. The power right to, but now there's another paddle that's more powerful. So that can't keep happening.
Right.
But I'm not sure where that goalpost should be set. But it's got to be set.
Yeah, and I feel like we're getting close to like needing to set it in a spot that
Yeah.
cannot exceed anymore.
I do too. I think otherwise we're going to need bigger courts and bigger boundary areas.
And then I don't want that either because I don't want to change. I feel like that'll change things too drastically.
Well, some clubs that built, say, around a soccer arena, that they bought the soccer arena and now it's pickleball, and they fit, say, 9 courts in today's standards, would not be able to fit anywhere near 9 if we changed the boundaries needed around a court. We used to say 30 by 60 was enough space. And I think everybody agrees that's not enough space anymore.
Right. Speaking of Major League Pickleball, what were your thoughts on when they decided to get rid of rally scoring and go back to traditional side-out scoring?
Well, I think what happened, everybody that knew the difference between rally scoring and side-out scoring, we knew that the matches weren't going to be as close. And so that's not as exciting for fans. I actually like rally scoring for a lot of reasons. I think it's easier for people to understand. It does make the matches more close. But I never liked the freeze. To me, that was, okay, I earned a 5-point lead, or I earned a 4-point lead, and now I have to give it back at the end of a
Yeah.
game. So that was the only thing I didn't like about the way they did rally scoring.
I always liked the rally scoring aspect of Major League Pickleball, and at first I liked the freeze also, but Eddie and I started talking about it, and he kind of won me over with his take on it, and it was basically like what you said, how it's like a manufactured comeback. Like the game becomes closer because of this freeze, which kind of almost penalizes the team that was dominant for the first part of the game.
Right.
And that made a lot of sense to me, to where I did kind of change my take on that, because I loved the freeze. I loved the idea of the freeze, but yeah, the more I think about it, that's not really fair to the team that was playing really well to start the game. So
when the game was invented, they wanted to make the game so the server didn't have a big advantage. So you couldn't serve and volley. So in tennis, you can serve and volley. Can you imagine if we had a freeze in tennis where you had to be the receiver to win the match?
right.
Because that would be the same thing. You've earned a lead by being a good serve and volley or server. And then now you have to be the receiver to win. And in pickleball, with that freeze, you have to be the server to score, even though you have less of an advantage to win that point because you're at the kitchen. Getting to the kitchen isn't exactly that easy.
Yeah, and speaking of tennis, shifting to another topic, another really hot topic in the world of pickleball, tennis legend Andre Agassi was part of this year's U.S. Open, competed in mixed doubles pro alongside Annalie Waters. What were your thoughts on that whole thing?
Oh, I was looking forward to watching it all day yesterday. So, I got up to watch it 3 hours earlier here. So, I got up and watched that. I think it's great for our sport, and I love it that we have a great tennis player who's fell in love with our sport. I thought maybe they would go a little farther, but they did play a good young team. That the first game that they won, they were up 8-0 in that second match. They were up 8-0, and the other team, when I was watching it, I was telling Lala, I go, this other team looks really like they should be winning this game, and they were down 8-0. There was 5 unforced, return to, and I thought they're going to be tough as this match is played. It's like watching a basketball team that is behind, but they had all the easy shots.
Right.
And that's how that first game looked to me. It looked like the other team really had the upper hand, but were losing. And then that match turned around. But anyway, I'm really, I think it's great he's playing, great for our sport. A lot of people aren't even paying attention to Yvonne Lendl, who just won 2 gold medals at the U.S. Open. He won men's doubles for 65 to 69, and he won mixed with Joanne Russell. If it wasn't for Andre being there, everybody would be talking about Yvonne Lendl.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like Andre being there, that was awesome. I feel like that was must-see TV. I'll be honest, I watched more of the U.S. Open yesterday than I've watched any PPA tournaments, and I'd say in the last 6 months combined, because PPA, it's sometimes it gets a little repetitive. It's almost the same old thing, but the U.S. Open, I had to watch Andre. I wanted to see how he did. I was rooting for him. Both matches he was part of, they were good, but they both went to a game 3. They were exciting. They were fun to watch, and you could just tell that there was an energy and a buzz in the crowd. There's always great energy at the U.S. Open, but this year it was like next level with Andre being there. I mean, it was so fun, so cool to watch. Even my dad tuned in, because when I told him that Andre Agassi was going to compete, he was like, "Oh, make sure you send me a reminder when it starts, because I want to watch that." He's never said that to me before when it comes to pickleball. He's never told me that he wanted to tune into a pickleball match before, and I feel like that's probably how it was all across the country too.
Right. I was so hoping that one of our Northwest players that I'm buddies with, because I had more than one that was in that draw with him. Wes was in the draw too. But I was just hoping so much that one of those guys would get to play him. I know Wes told me that was his idol growing up when Wes was a high school tennis player. So I was thinking, oh man, I hope Wes gets to play Andre, but he didn't.
Oh man, that would have been cool.
The team that did beat them was saying that they were pretty darn nervous at the beginning because they are playing a legend who they looked up to. And so then they finally just relaxed and played pickleball.
That's what I was thinking too at first. I had a feeling nerves might have been kicking in for that team on the second match that they played, that first game when they were making all those unforced errors.
Yeah, it was they were making unforced errors, but they looked like they had earned the right to win a lot of those points, and then they would miss. So that's why I felt like, oh, this team's pretty good. Watch out for them. So I don't know who they were going to play next, but
yeah. I wonder, do you think Andre will do some more matches like that? I'm sure probably not in the PPA unless, maybe if he tries to go for like a senior division or something like that, but I'll be curious to see if he does more.
I hope he keeps playing tournaments, but he is 56,
55 or 56, something like that.
What I would love, so we have in our local area here, a former Wimbledon and French Open champion. We have Jonathan Stark, and he's come here to play at my playhouse. He's very good. He loves pickleball. Unfortunately, he has to teach tennis a lot. He runs a tennis academy for kids. But I just love to team those two guys up. He's about 52, so he's 2 or 3 years younger than Agassi. I'm sure they know each other. He's tall. He's got great hands. He was at one time the best doubles player in the world in that middle 90s period.
Oh, nice.
And he's got those hands of a doubles player, and he's learned how to dink. I know we've had a lot of fun with him here at the Playhouse and playing at various spots. It'd be great to get more of those guys teamed up to play.
But yeah, I love seeing this kind of thing. I hope a lot more tennis people get involved and show that pickleball is a good sport, that it shouldn't be looked down upon by other tennis players and stuff like that.
You probably remember Clarence visiting that podcast at one time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you mind if I bring a surprise guest out? His name's Archie.
Yeah, well, this definitely was not expected, but yeah, sure, why not? Let's go for it.
Sometimes I can't trust Archie, so is this? You can edit things out if he says some bad things.
Yeah, luckily we're not live now, so we can we can censor things if necessary.
Hey, Archie, I'm going to be on TV. Yeah, you are. Woo! Yeah, this is Archie. Hey, okay, yeah.
Hey, Archie.
Wave, Archie. Hey. Yeah, that's Webby. Hey, Webby.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, all right. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around. See, I know your song.
Nice. Great voice. We might need you to re-record our theme song for us.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it, man. Yeah. Hey, who's watching this show? Well, there's lots of people watching. Is the government watching? No, sorry. Why are you concerned with that? I don't want to be deported. Deported? Yeah. I'm not a citizen. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know you weren't an American citizen. No, I'm not. What are you? I'm an American American. Oh, okay. Okay. What do you want? What do you want? I'm gonna interview Webby. Oh, can he interview you for just a second?
Oh, he wants to interview me? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, he likes being in front of the TV. How long you been playing, Webby?
This is actually my 8th year.
Wow, OG.
That's right. OG and like in today's standards, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite tournament?
I do. The Beer City Open in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's coming up in July. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, do you play singles?
I do. In fact, I have a series called Webby versus Everybody where I do a singles match against usually people that are a lot higher level than me, but then I make them play with a really cheap paddle to try to give myself a chance.
What's your rating?
For singles, last time I checked it was like right around 3.5.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah, not great, but not bad.
Well, not bad. 3.5's better now than it used to be,
It is. I'm telling you what, like I started doing 4-0 tournaments a few years ago, and I was doing at first I feel like I could hang, but I never did well. And then recently I've been doing 3-5 tournaments with my daughter, and those I feel like are just as tough as the 4-0 tournaments I was doing a few years ago.
How old's your daughter?
She's about to turn 18, so not that young anymore.
Oh. Okay. That's enough, Archie. Hey, Webby. I'm not real.
What do you mean you're not real?
I'm the puppet.
You're kidding me.
Hey, Mr. Puppet. Sorry about that. Hey, Archie, tell him why you started playing pickleball. Women. Oh yeah. Well, you can meet a lot of girls at the pickleball court if you were a single guy like Archie. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
I'm trying to set a good example for my nephew. Oh, he's trying to set a good example, Webby, for his nephew.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fitness, exercise.
Yeah, pickleball's a great thing for that, definitely.
Yeah, Chucky. Chucky's my nephew. Do you know Chucky?
Oh man, I do know a Chucky. Hopefully it's not the Chucky that I'm thinking of.
It might be. Yeah, okay, yeah. Last week, though, I was embarrassed by him. I had a lady friend over last week. Oh, no. Chucky caught me putting on a condom. I don't want to know. I don't know what. What did you tell Chucky? I told him I was trying to catch a mouse. Oh, okay. Trying to catch a mouse? Yeah. What did Chucky say? He said, after you catch it, are you going to screw it? Okay, that's enough.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna put you back in your suitcase. Help! It's so hard being around Archie. That's what she said. Sorry about that. That's one of my adult characters. He wasn't allowed to go to school at my elementary schools.
Oh, I can see why.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. Once again, I genuinely was not expecting that. So thank you for the entertainment value there. Steve, I really appreciate you connecting with us again, and the year is still young, so I feel like we're probably going to need to reconnect with you maybe multiple times before the end of this year, but I'm very interested to see where pickleball goes by the end of the year. Like we've said before, time in the pickleball world seems to move at a much more rapid pace than real life with how much things can change.
Right. I have a podcast called The Pickleball Fountain of Youth. And this week we're shooting a podcast with 5 owners of pickleball clubs.
Oh, nice.
Private owners. And you may even know some of them. Christy from Wolverine Pickleball.
Oh, yeah. Good friend of ours.
Okay. Oh, good. She's going to be here at the Playhouse.
Nice.
And so is Dan from All In Pickleball. I think they're both from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yep. I know Dan also. That's a great club that's in Grand Rapids or that area.
Well, they're both going to be here with some other pickleball owners on the 5th. And then we're shooting one of our Pickleball Fountain of Youth podcasts with them as guests.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely be tuning into that one. I think that's a great show as well.
That's one of the biggest interests of mine is how big is the sport going to grow with more pickleball clubs? Is this just going to keep going and keep going and keep going? Because when the sport couldn't grow in the 80s, the reason we couldn't grow, we didn't have pickleball clubs.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen an end to this yet. So,
well, yeah, it's crazy. Just here in Southeast Michigan, like in the last, I would say 6 months, there's been at least 6 different clubs that opened in a span of like 30 miles. In fact, one of my goals this year, I want to try to hit as many, if not all, of the new clubs that have opened like in the span of like 40 miles. even farther than that. My wife and I took a trip to Wisconsin, and we went to a buddy's new facility that he opened there. I went to one down in Toledo recently called Toledo Pickle Company, and then a whole bunch of them here near where I live. And it's crazy how many have opened, and I love to see it. Hopefully they can all be successful, because I feel like at some point, like there might be a little too much competition close to each other. But at the moment, I feel like there is enough players out there to keep all these places in business. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. Our club that I teach at is called Rex, and we were actually the first indoor club in the Portland area, and it was a former soccer building. And so we have 9 really nice courts. We have cushioned courts. My courts here at my home are also cushioned. That's a special process that Dan Hanks up here in Bend, Oregon, has his own proprietary method of cushioning courts, and it's so nice. I can play on these courts all day and not be sore the next day.
Oh, that's great. One thing, anybody that's newer to the show, you might not realize this, but Steve joined me for one of our end of the year episodes a couple of years ago, and that's the one that you did from Rex, and you gave us a really nice tour of Rex, and then you had some beer that was on tap that you drank from there. That was a very fun episode.
Enrique was with me, I think, that day, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very fun. Very fun episode.
And Enrique just won a local open mixed doubles tournament here last weekend with
Oh, nice.
one of our young pros from our club.
Very nice.
So he's still doing well as a player, and he's in his mid-50s, still playing the young kids in our local open tournaments.
Nice. That's another thing. That's something I've always loved about this sport, because like it really doesn't matter what the age gap is. I mean, there's some times where somebody that's younger, they might be able to get some points just because they can run around a little quicker and cover the court quicker. But I still love the fact that people that are getting up there in age can still have really good competitive matches against teenagers and people in their 20s and stuff like that.
That's one of my favorite things right now is coaching teenage. I've got some teenage boys that are just very good athletes and working so hard on the sport. They don't need any motivation. They're self-motivated. And they go through that process of, they first make a lot of mistakes, but they run faster and jump higher than me. And so I'm still beating them even in singles. Then they beat me in singles first. And then they start beating me at skinny singles. And then I only want to partner with them. And last night was one of those nights where my neighbor kid, my next door neighbor also has an indoor court. So we have 3 indoor courts walking distance apart.
That's
and
awesome.
Ryan came over last night. He was my partner all night. So that was, when you play with the young kids, and if you're a senior, it's a lot like you see mixed pro on TV, where the woman isn't taking a lot of court. That's me when I'm playing with the young kids. But you have to know when to let them, how much court to let them take, and then it works
Right.
really well.
Yeah.
Wes used to kiddingly, this is 10 years ago when I was playing doubles with Wes, he used to call it men's mixed doubles.
That is good. Well, thanks again, Steve. This is great. Is there anything else you want to tell anybody who's tuning in, like anywhere to follow you? I know you've got the Pickleball Fountain of Youth podcast. Anything else you want to let everybody know?
Well, you can find that podcast on Selkirk TV under shows, and you can also find it on YouTube.
Very nice. You guys are definitely going to want to check that out. He's been involved in pickleball for over 50 years. He's pretty much seen and experienced it all so far, and you're going to want to tune into his podcast to hear what he has to say about different areas in the sport. But back to you, Eddie and Webby.
Man, Webby, I always love Steve Paranto. I always love when he's on our pod. It's so cool. Thinking back to, 6 years ago when we were on his radio show and he was first on our podcast, like how different things are now. And it's amazing. Every time I think of Steve, I think of like the essence of what pickleball was, prior to the last few years. And he's just such a great guy.
For sure. I always have such a blast talking to him. He's just a wealth of knowledge in the sport. I mean, he's been in the sport since the 70s. I mean, most people didn't even know it existed back in the 70s. And him and his father have been a vital part of it. I mean, they were the reason that pickleball stopped using wooden paddles as the primary type of paddle and stuff like that. Even to this day, he's very influential in the sport when it comes to different rules that are implemented and stuff like that. And for over 10 years, he's been trying to get the drop serve to become the serve in the sport of pickleball. And I really do. I'm all in. Like I am totally in agreement of what he has said about it. I do think it would solve a lot of issues in the sport if we went to the drop serve, because it would take all of the judgment out of things. I know that can be controversial with some people because there's a lot of people out there that hate the drop serve and don't think it should be the serve in the sport. But I do think, like Steve said, if we want this sport to be totally legitimate, we want it to be in the Olympics, some stuff really has to be fixed with the sport. And that is a big area that I think does need to be fixed. And that could be the solution.
I remember when the drop serve first came out, I was not a huge proponent of it. I wish there was another way. I don't necessarily love the drop serve, but I mean, God, if it's going to fix it, like, who cares? It's just a pickleball serve. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I've dabbled with it in the past year. I didn't use it a whole lot when it first became a legal type of serve to use according to the USA Pickleball rules. But in the past year, there's been a few times where I did try it, and I do kind of like it. I always go back to the regular serve, but the drop serve really isn't too bad. And I would not have a problem if that ends up becoming the only way to serve. I don't know if it ever will, but if it does, I don't think it would be a bad thing.
Well, guys, as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts, so please throw them down in the comments below. But Webby, we're all just dying to know your
closing thoughts.
So what did we learn today? We learned how everybody reacted when they saw the color scheme of the courts at this year's Major League Pickleball Orlando. We also learned that MLP is becoming WWE. And we had a chance to talk with Hall of Famer Steve Paranto. But that's going to do it for us here on episode 96 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby.
If you guys like this, definitely show us some love by clicking the like button. Subscribe to us if you haven't already. Share this video. Do all the things that you're supposed to do to help promote us. I don't know. I hate this part of this. I feel so slimy. If you like us, just do what you can. We really appreciate it. And let's have some more discussions. Throw it down in the comments below. What do you guys think about what we're talking about? Do you have a topic? Do you have a meme? Do you have a beer? Anything? We love interacting with you guys.
We absolutely love it, but that's going to do it for us here today.
And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
That's it.
Well, we're dinking around with Eddie and Webby. Dinking around with Eddie and Webby tonight.
Oh, yeah.